Bienvenido, my boy. Welcome. Um, Drinking some tea, trying to get myself. I feel a little kind of different today. Um, and I speak to you about this. I decided to go on live. I sent out this link to a brother. I believe he's an elder. I remember that name, but I sent him the link and to see if he comes on in. Anybody who's willing to come on in, just let me know. I'll put it on the chat. I can't. Let me see. I could put it on the chat. Let me see. Let me go here. There's a private chat. There's comments. Yeah, I could put it on the comments, but I don't know if it's gonna go to the YouTube comment or the Facebook. I am simultaneously broadcasting through Facebook and YouTube. So I suggest everybody to go to the YouTube channel, right? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Silos Congas. You can find it. That's at YouTube. They look for Silos Congas. Just put that Silos Congas in and I should come up. You know what I'm saying? And that way, there's times that I do podcasts about music, and I'm gonna share with you an experience about that and the master and the old man, the music. But yeah, it sometimes when I play some of the songs that I grew up in, especially those old doo-wop songs, they kind of like cut my and Facebook especially, they cut my Facebook. They mute it, or certain countries the music because it's copyrighted. They own copyrights, and certain countries don't are not privy to those copyrights and that music. But YouTube seems to be a little more open to that because most of the songs that I do put on the podcast is from YouTube. Okay. But anyway, so anybody wishes to come on, man, they're more than welcome to come on. I could put the link in the chat. I believe will be the. Let me see. Oh, some destination won't get comments. It says here. Okay. Well, let me start by saying that I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but you got to be strong. You got to be the haru, right? You got to be able to fly over the storm. In this storm, this drama, all this stuff. You got to be able to also center yourself and fly over it. You know what I'm saying? And keep your eyes to the sun. Keep your eye to those that energy, that electromagnetic forces. You know what I'm saying? Because if you get caught up in the storm, you know what could happen. You get thrown around, and a lot of things can happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's very important, that practice. So I try to think like the falcon. I wanna fly over the storm. You know what I'm saying? And that's important in our life. You know what I'm saying? We have to weather the storm. We gotta fly over it like the Heru. So I wanted to start off by saying that I got caught up in a little bit, and a lot of things has been said over the internet, and I think that a lot of this is really not targeting Nuwapians or Sabians. I think a lot of this is the whole conscious community in general, because those platforms have a voice and they give a voice to people. You know what I'm saying? And so, online, there's a lot of fact checking, and there's a lot of organizations, countries that have companies where they have individuals, 30 or so more individuals, sitting down at a computer and sort of like scouting out the internet. That's how you get a couple of trolls and stuff. And in there, I caught a few of them. And are you a troll? Are you sitting in that cubicle trying to start something here? And immediately, whoop, it disappeared. Also, in Nigeria, happens a lot in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? You got companies also in Nigeria, and people in Nigeria that do that. They scam, especially with the Bitcoin and stuff like that, and they scam. I always watch somebody that says, after they tell you something, inbox me. I'm like, what? No, I'm not going to inbox you. Okay, send me a picture of your Bitcoin. How much Bitcoin you have? Send me a picture of it. What? No, brother. And they coming from Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? I told the story before about that young man that hacked a lady's page and was posing as her. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff happens. And the reason why I'm saying that, because we're dealing with the internet of things, the fourth industrial revolution. So we're dealing with this issue. So I think that you know I see that everything started to kick off with the conscious community, with those platforms, the so-called conscious community, when Mark Lamont Hill got on. And then he blurted out something about his experience with Dr. York, and they ate that up. And I purposely think that it was done, his introduction to that was by way of Jabari, Cornell University alumni. You know what I'm saying? Got to be careful, because these brothers that study journalism, anybody know anything about journalism? If you follow the story on some journalism, how some other countries, especially in the Middle East countries, they always targeted and they take it. Matter of fact, I think in Iraq, a journalist was killed, beheaded, or something like that, because they go out. A journalist, it's like an agent. It's dealing with propaganda. All that comes from the school of Hitler, taught that, the propaganda. And I should have brought it up in the Bible, how in Israel, according to Bible narrative, how they send out espionage, spies amongst people, right? And the way they do that is through journalism. They put propaganda, they put things into people's mind. You know what I'm saying? They interject these thoughts, these ideas into the mind. So I always watch a person that pride themselves as, I'm a journalist. You mean you're an agent? You know what I'm saying? Because your journal, right? Your journal is scripted, right? Anything anybody knows, everybody been to a news, man, I think in NBC, if you're in New York or someone, go to a news casting building and see if they let you sit like behind something. They had audience. I used to go to NBC building because I used to work in Radio City Music Hall. So I used to go across the street to the NBC studios and actually see how those newscasters were, doing the news. And it's scripted. It is scripted. They can't get online. They have an earbud in their ear, right? And it's scripted, right? So that's the mindset of an agent. He has a protocol. It's scripted. So I think a lot of this is targeting that platform, and a lot of Nuwapians are in those platforms. You know what I'm saying? And you are utilizing the internet. The internet is changing. They're trying to control it. It got out of control. You got the dark web, right? What they call the dark web. They got the, like a brother sent me, they kicked what's that, Ike, what's his name, that Caucasian, David Icke. They kicked him out of YouTube and Facebook, but you could find him in Odyssey, which is an encrypted, something like YouTube, but it's encrypted. I have it. So you could he's still speaking on Odyssey and making, you know what I'm saying? And making his assertion into what he believed, what's going on. And it seems to be on point a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to control that. And so you see this playing out, And then since we're navigating through this internet, through YouTube and Facebook, and we're operating through it, you know what I'm saying? And then being that we want to reach out to family, reach out to those that believe like us, Sabians and Nuwapians, then we start putting things online. You know what I'm saying? So all of that started to kick out, because of the audio, there is there is a you can see there's a possibility, a threat, a possibility that this man might be out. You know what I'm saying? And that's not wishful thinking or hoping or anything, but you can see, because what do you think? If he's a master teacher, don't you think he have people inside? You know, you got brothers inside. You know when you're in jail, and I mean, you can go to school, and you can study to be a paralegal. You can study law. There's many things you could study in jail. So what do you think? There's not brothers in there that are studying the law. They got brothers inside always working on their case and studying their law from within. So what do you think? That this is not going on in there? You know, but I don't want to go too much into that. What's happening on the outside? People working towards, this freedom. They so-called working for its freedom, but we don't know. You know, we can have opinions and we can say, you just have to see it all play out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, what I wanted to say is that you have to watch that. Those that get on and they want to always be a journalist. See, I'm not a journalist. I don't get up here and start quoting you the news and start propagating certain things to you, because that's a personal thing that you have to find out for yourself. I'm not going to come over here and talk and propagate medical practices to you. I study HIPAA. HIPAA. HIPAA is the privacy law, medical privacy law. You got to know these things. So I'm not going to get out here and do that. But when you see the news doing it, that's their propaganda. So now it seems like there's a lot of this going on the internet, especially when it comes to the case of Dr. York, Malachi Z. York, Panabab Yannin, right? We call him back in the days the old man. You know what I'm saying? Because he had the wisdom, the ancient of days. He had the wisdom. And he's not the only one. Because, you have family members probably. You probably know somebody that say, man, thinking like an old, they 6 years old, but they thinking like a 30-year-old. You know what I'm saying? The old souls manifest. Old souls, that energy, that ancient energy manifests because it's genetic. It travels through our ancestry patterns and our genetic blueprint. You know what I'm saying? So, man, let me get on camera here. I'm sorry. I thought I was on camera, but anyway, here I am. Drinking my tea. Peace and blessings to everybody. Right back. Oh, wow, look at that. I did not know that I had a screen thing in here. And because this is green, oh, look at that. I did not know that, y'all. I guess I got to get a green screen in the back. And this is a nice, but I don't remember putting this up. So must have been done by somebody. Wow, look at that. I love it. Anyway, this is the green cup. That's why. I got to get a green screen. But this is so cool. Look at that. I knew it was this. What is this? Let me look at this really good. This is I knew it was giving something to somebody. Hey, could be a manuscript and hieroglyphic of what my life is and who I can't reveal who I am. Hell no. I don't need y'all to come at me like that. Once everybody find out, oh, is that? Oh, I'm like, no. I'm just Kefra Shuasep. That's a clue, Kefra. Anyway, we have, again, that's something to be aware of, And then, when you're in university, right, some of the requirements of university is you have to take certain classes like English, you got to take psychology, there's electives that you got to take and the requirements. And one of the requirements is writing, because you have to write papers in the university. So they want you to learn the different templates, what's a proposal, what's a research paper, and so on. So you learn the templates, and the professor explains to you and you do your paper. And you have to learn about writing. One thing about writing, certain templates, when it comes to journalist template, there's certain skills that you have to develop, And some of those skills could be turned around. You know what I'm saying? That's power. And remember, in knowledge, there's power. Your knowledge over something gives you power over something. The more knowledgeable one, that's why if anybody goes back to an audio, a video that Pa made, I think the Most High, he said it. I have to give you what the most high or the most knowledge out here, because that's the way I have to prove about the Most High. You know what I'm saying? The Most High. And I say the Most High frequency. The most highest frequencies, I got to bring you up to that. You know what I'm saying? So that you can activate your intuition, your clairvoyance, your psychometry, those other qualities, senses, those other senses that subsist, that are underneath the existence of things. There are other senses that we have. That's just common sense. There's a sense. It is not only touch, the sense of touch, like touch and feel. And not only that sense, there's another sense that ideas and concept actually touch your neurons, your brain. You know what I'm saying? It sparks. So with that saying is that when you know these things and you study these things, and I'm not saying for anybody, go to university or whatever, but those are some of the requirements. Those are some of the requirements. So I had to take those classes. I didn't like my psychology class. It was too much for me. Too much. As a matter of fact, I had to take a non-matriculate course away from New York University to another college that was closer to home, to Lehman College, to take psychology to get the same 4 credits that I would have gotten at NYU, but it's still registered as an NYU class. But I had to take it non-matriculate because if I took it within the confine of the school, it was difficult. You had to do a seminar. You had to sit in a seminar. You had to do a class, and you had to do a lab. This is psychology, a lab in psychology. And it was too overload for me. You know what I'm saying? So with that saying is that this whole thing of, you got to watch what's happening with journalism. You got to watch those that pride themselves on, I'm a journalist. I want to be aspiring journalist. Then they get caught up. They don't know that deals with that whole world. It's controlled by government. It's controlled by organizations that have propaganda, that have agendas. Agenda. How else would you promote your idea and your concepts? And they do this covertly. Covert operations, And so there's a lot of journalists that got caught out there. So I think that's what's happening now with the conscious community. And us as Nuwapi Sabians, we got to be careful and not get caught up in stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We have our espionage brothers. We have our spies amongst us, and brothers that are truthful Sabians and Nuwapians in other venues that become like spies. You know what I'm saying? It's out there. This world, and it's predicated on trust. Trust is what they say is the golden grail of espionage. Trust. So when I see people getting on certain platforms, it's like, trust me. I'm telling you, got to trust me. I'm for real. This and this and that and that. I'm like, I don't trust no one, bro. I don't trust no one. Because I know what trust is. You're going to mess it up. And that's, again, the holy grail of espionage. And I don't want to deal like that. I want to live my life, but I want to be the best. I definitely am the best that I can be. And vibe with people like me. You know what I'm saying? People that experience things like I experience. They try to get me a lot of time at these platforms to talk very submersive against Dr. Young. And I'm like, and I got dear friends and brothers, that changed. And they wanted me always to talk submersive. Have these guys, and I can't do that. I did not experience that. Oh, you didn't see this? You didn't see that happen? You didn't see it? No. I did not see a lot of things happen. I might have. Sometimes you could feel certain things, but then again, you got to be careful. That can deceive you. They say that can deceive you. So I'm just talking here and waiting for the brother to see if he comes on. Um, I don't know who's on my Facebook because my phone, I'm charging it up. And let me see. No, I can't go on here with the Facebook because then I will have to mute. No. All right. Like I said, to everybody out there, subscribe here, my YouTube channel. You know, yeah, subscribe, share, and like my YouTube, Silos Congas. It's on there. You know, that way I can see the comments and chat stuff like that. Unless maybe in Facebook, I don't know. Right now I don't think nobody's listening to me. But let's see what was that about. Hmm. So, with that being said, this has been happening for since time immemorial. I mean, you look at the stories in ancient Kemet. You look at the stories in ancient time. This idea of espionage and stuff like that has been happening. So we gotta be very, very careful. We gotta be like Heru. We gotta fly over the drama and stuff like that. Because I tell you, I got a little sick. That's why I'm drinking my tea. And let me do this again. I like this. Hey, look at that. Anubis. I learned how to read hieroglyphics also. I got a lot of books on it. And yes, look at that. Beautiful. And it doesn't seem like it's really the weighing of the heart. I didn't see the heart in there, but it's something weighing there. But that's great. So again, I have to drink my tea. I got to get myself up because I'm telling you, I've been feeling a little down. Listening to a lot of this stuff that's going on, and I'm sensitive to a lot of that stuff, which is going to bring me to this. I don't think that the master teacher I wouldn't want to come out to something like this. Definitely. Or maybe it's needed to weed out certain things, you know what I'm saying? And everyone is being exposed right now. Ain't that something? Exposed. You have elders coming out and exposing things and says, yeah, man. I mean, things was not like our beloved sister said, Haiti, hunky dory. I haven't heard that in a long time, hunky dory. Everything was not such a great. And I'm speaking in terms of the mission, the Ansar, because we had a mission. Our mission was for us to have something of our own, you know what I'm saying? To have our own institutional, settings, educational, to have our own village, to have our own land, you know what I'm saying? To become our own nation, you know what I'm saying? To get that back, but we've been traumatized, we've been separated and traumatized, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're not going against the United States government. You're not going against it because the United States, that's just a corporation, federal corporations. You know what I'm saying? They put a charter to states. But within the states, you need people that, you have people that are part of different nations. This is a amalgamation, a combination of many different nations. It's a melting pot of many different nations. So we have a right, you know what I'm saying? We have a right to honor our ancestors and honor our nation. We have a nation building. This is nation building. And a lot of times, things has to be done. Things has to be done. You have to fight the battle in the beginning, the wars and the battle. And when you fight the battle, there's things that has to be done. And then when you try to bring people into the fold of your ideas and concept, I've been in bands, and when you try to bring in bands, there's always that one musicians. I think they got more ideas than you do. You know what I'm saying? And there's always, always. So you have to find a band of people that are vibing like you. You know what I'm saying? And so you're always going to get, when you do nation building and this mission, you're always going to get distractors, agents, and they could be flipped. Or they could be flipped. They could be put in order. They could be flipped, especially if you're truthful. You know what I'm saying? And they see that, hey, there's nothing destructive going on here. There's no reason for COINTELPRO or any of that. There's no reason for that. You know what I'm saying? We're not religious, but we don't look at Pa Nabaya as being the Messiah. No, he's the head of a body of people that you can call Messiah. Because when you look at the word Messiah, Masaha means to wipe clean, right? To clean, wipe away, wipe. So he was the first one to wipe clean. Okay? But in the midst of that, things got to get dirty. Where are you going to put all that debris at? The rag is going to get dirty, right? The crumb's going to fall to the ground. You know, things happen when you wipe things down. You know what I'm saying? But the idea of wiping, that's Messiah shit. You know what I'm saying? And so many of us had joined, had harnessed our ability within us, because that is one of the gifts that we have. If you don't have that gift, you're always going to be caught up in the muck and mire. You're always going to be caught up in drama. You're always going to be caught up in shit because you don't have the ability to wipe that shit away, brush it off, brush. That's what, you know what I'm saying? It's just wording and just knowing the definitions of words, you know what I'm saying? And that's very, very, very important when you deal with that. So this is nation building, but apparently along that, and it happens. Look at, because the nation of America is different than the United States corporation, right? But in the beginning, look what this country had to go through in the beginning. And then you had a civil war. You know what I'm saying? The Northern, this is nation building. This is going to happen, okay? So we got to go on forward. We got to keep going and go on forward with this. You know what I'm saying? We have that path, that what we used to call back in the day mustaqim, that pa taruk. And back in the Sons of the Green Light, it was tariq, the path, treading the path, the tariq, right? There is a thin path. And in the doctrine, in some of the books, it mentioned that. You got to go back. I forgot the one when he draws the ship, the Crystal City. And if you're not on that path, if you're not stepping in the right line, you can get electrocuted. Yeah, I wish I could find those. But I read so many books back in the days. But again, people got to read for comprehension, and they don't. You know, but this is knowledge that we have from back in the day. We can share it. A lot of elders know this stuff, and they can share it because we had to go out there and propagate it. You know, I flipped a lot of 5%ers, okay, by the science of creation. When I drew it up, on the board for the 5%ers, the science of creation, broke it down to them using also my knowledge from NYU. Because being myself, especially myself, and man, next thing you know, they will come into class. Like, wow. That whole family, Danielle and Matun and his mother and his sisters and stuff, I was the one that brought them on in. Like I was brought in by Abdul Latif and Abdul Aziz, right? Abdul Latif especially, right? I brought them in. On the train, I found them, and I expressed myself because I knew they were Spanish. So I'm Spanish, Puerto Rican, and we got along. And tell me, because they were like, are there Puerto Ricans in that community? I said, yeah, they are. There was a few of us there. You know what I'm saying? And so I gave them the book, and then next thing you know, they were moving in. You know what I'm saying? So we had to learn. For one, be ourselves, the experience that we have. At the same time, you have to align the doctrine with that. Because that's what the master teacher did. His experience, he aligned it up with the doctrine. A lot of times when he spoke to us, he didn't speak about the books and what was in the books. Because he used to tell us all the time, the books are just to draw you in. The real lessons you're going to get here from mouth to ear and the experience that you're going to get. We experienced a lot in the Ansar days. A lot, you know. When I was young, I was the type of kid that went to school with my cadet. I was in the cadets, 170th Street. The New York City Mission Cadets on 170th Street in Jerome. There's a building there in the 60s and early 70s that the city built. And the commander was an army general, and in the hood they were grooming us. I had that military. I loved it. I had a military sense. Some of us are born with wanting to be the military and uniform, and that's part of our nature. So I was like that. And so I went to class, 5th grade, with my cadet uniform, man. I was proud. I was a cadet, military minded. You know what I'm saying? So then when I got to the Ansar Allah University, I saw that too. We had jalabias, right, with Emma and stuff, but then we also had uniforms. A jalabia uniform in green with the patch of the Mahdi. You know what I'm saying? So all this, related. And I'm going to segue into something about music that I started thinking the other day. I was like, oh man, I remember. When I was in the it must have been in the 5th grade or 4th grade, right, in the school in the Bronx up there. We lived in 170th Street, El Grand Highway, Shakespeare Avenue, and up on the hill was an elementary school. I remember that they all put us in the auditorium, and there was a performance in the auditorium. It was a group, and the lead singer comes out of there was a paper bag, and he pop out, and they were singing songs, and they were entertaining us. That was passion back in the days. Passion was going around to different schools, right? And at the same time, that sparked something in me in music, because after that performance, and I remember the man, that's why I said I knew who he was when I went there in 1979, because I was like, wait a minute, that's the same singer, the man that came and smiled at me, and I'm a little kid, I'm smiling, and I was just intrigued with music, that I even went home with my cousins and we formed our own musical group, because I used to listen to the dramatics and stylistics and stuff like that. That is planting the seeds. You know what I'm saying? So then music became a big thing in my life. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that there's experiences there, that I kind of say like, wow, man, what's going on? What's going on here? So I don't want to put, like I said, we learn also in Ansar, and the reason why I'm doing this podcast is drop certain jewels for those that want to listen. We learn not to put the old man, the master teacher, on the pedestal, because he used to tell us, Judah, when you put somebody on the pedestal, you become a Judas, and using that biblical quote, because you're pointing the finger at him, saying that he's the one. He's the one. He's the master teacher, and you don't never know who's lurking around and put his life in danger. So I always learn, hey, listen, don't put the man on a pedestal. You don't need to do that. That's for us. We know who he is. So dealing with the world around us, you can't do that. We were told not to do that. But there are, of course, those that don't listen. You know what I'm saying? There's those that do not listen. They're so intrigued. They're so caught up, you know what I'm saying, in that personality character. It changed their life. And I understand. It changed my life. It changed people's life. But again, we have to be patient and careful where we tread. And don't put them in that pedestal. Okay? You think that the court system care that he's the president of the Sabaean nation or the Yamasee nation? You think they care if he's partner by Yanin and he is the one, the light, and he is the master? You think they care about that? No. As a matter of fact, they're instructed through their protocol, COINTELPRO protocol that was set by the FBI to seek that out and to squash it. They did it to David Koresh. They did it to a lot of many leaders. So that thing about putting him on a pedestal, I frown on that, because we were told not to do that. He's walking in amongst us. All of a sudden, you're going to point him. Oh, yeah. Oh, so who's your teacher? Who's your master teacher? There he is right there. Next thing, bang. And you're going to be responsible for that. That's what happened to Judas. He pointed out to Yeshua. Okay, and that's just in the biblical narrative. Not that I promote that a lot, but there's jewels in that, lessons in that. Okay. So I best of my ability, I refrain from a lot of that. And I say to myself, like I tell everybody, I'm not a follower. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a follower. But I do recognize in each one of us, and even that man, all right, that I stood with and taught me a lot of things, the talent, the charisma, and the greatness. And I see that in all my brothers, my Zamal, and people that I know in general, musicians. I see that there's a greatness in there. There's greatness in you. You have that ability. You know what I'm saying? But those are lessons. Those are the inner lessons. Okay? Again, being patient and learning how to activate your intuition, that other sense, which we learn through sound right reasoning, which is deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. And then you have what they call paradoxical reasoning. We're so much on the critical side, and critic is this or that. We're critics, but we don't see the paradoxical. So sometimes I have to check myself, and I got to see the whole picture, which segue, I did make a statement that I found the conference call very boring, and these people, and I said certain thing about certain people, that are now called the clan mother, and people that are ahead of the OEI, or people that have positions in this administration. But I look at it like this. They doing what they have to do, and if they changed, then it's going to show that they changed, and they're trying to correct themselves. And a shout out to my brother, Amunuma, that was very honorable, because a brother, Sapak Raye from Samaka, what they call, say, Jamaica, but it's actually Samaka in Taino, ancient name, that landmass, that island, and his experience. Wow, man. I didn't know that side, because I got to tell you what happened there with that brother Aaron Pryor, what they call Duswa and all that. And I could tell you a story about him too, that Abi Yaya told me. He almost got his head pushed back by some. Abi Yaya was no joke. Yo, I miss that man so much. He was once one of the noble. He was no joke. No joke. He was quick to cut a hand, quick, without because he was so in the mission. Take your head out quick, with the quickness. And I'm not talking about take your head out with words. I'm talking about physically do some harm to you when you don't even know it's coming. I seen him put a brother Victor Felix against the wall and look at his eyes like, who are you? What's going on? You an agent? I mean, he went in, and I was like, yo, Baba, Abi, come in. You know what I'm saying? But you see what happened. Them brothers, they fall to the wayside. But not to get too much away. So, people, I don't want to speak submersive about. I've learned my lessons, especially being in the streets and being around organization, Italian. You got to be careful when you start speaking submersive about people. You open yourself up, you become a target. Okay? I'm not speaking submersive about anybody in the conference, what they call the head of the administration or anything. If they change, they change. But my point is this, and I'm citing my opinion. I feel it was boring. It reminded me of church. So I say, what's going on? It's that there was no really, I don't know. I didn't feel inspired. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel inspired at all. And I thought it was meant to inspire you. It was meant for us to go on or whatever. It just was so boring. You know what I'm saying? And then I listened to the voices that I knew from before. I knew Asakina sound. I knew I heard her before. The clan mother, and I didn't quite know her that well, because like I told you, she wasn't an Ansar. Tashaka Malik, I knew his voice very well. You know what I'm saying? Because I was raised by him in the Blue House. He was a worshipful master. I was raised in the Blue House. I have dealings with certain people, but like I said, I'm in it, but not of it. You know what I'm saying? If it's honorable and it's beneficial for us as a whole, my family, especially my personal family, okay, my family, you know what I'm saying? Because I also have a family. I'm not so invested in the York family. I knew majority of them that wasn't even involved with the mission. You know, it's the old man's sister and mother. I knew the family and I knew those siblings, but I didn't want to be part of that family. I mean, it just didn't happen. You know, I believe that maybe later on the line, and with my daughters and the son, you know, I believe that, you know, when it comes to nation building, there should be some type of arranged marriages. You know, but that's a practice when you deal with genetics, and it's a very complicated practice, which we don't do now. We're lazy. We're not into that. So, but it's just a family, just like any other family. They got their problems. They got their issues. You know what I'm saying? My family is huge. We got issues. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? But when I hear, you know, I look, you know, the old man always taught us to look for something different, charge. You know, when we used to speak to people, you know, they're not only listening to your words, but they're feeling your feelings of how you feel. So that's how I felt. I'm listening to them, and at the same time, I'm feeling like, yo, what is this? Okay, you want to give it a church setting, and you want to do this, and that's fine. I could roll with that. I've been to certain churches before, and I like the fellowship. You know, after that, we get together. But I like that in a personal sense. And fellowship, get together and have some tea. Which remind me, let me drink some more tea, yo. Isn't that neat? Look at that. So that whole church setting, I'm not against it at all. If you build it like that, then build it like that. But that's my feeling. That's what I got of it. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing profound in that at all. And then I said to myself, the communications I've been getting into myself, I said, put myself in that shoe, and I'm like, yo, I wouldn't want to come to this madness. No, I would not want to come to this madness. I would want to create something on a global arena. You know what I'm saying? I will go to an African country and build on a global arena and settings, you know, because it's a lot of sick. Maybe we dropped the ball. Maybe we should have those behavioral science PhDs and doctors and psychologists, because there's a lot of trauma. And I'm not only speaking to Nuwapi and Saban, I'm talking about in the hood. I'm talking to our people in general. Drama. You know, the traumatic drama. In the islands, it gets a little more because you're distracted by the beauty of the palm trees and it's good. It's good when you go to the ocean. You know what I'm saying? So I grew, you know, in Puerto Rico, we grew up by the ocean, so we can go to the ocean. You can unleash things out into the oceans, but we don't have that in the States. Growing up in New York, man, drama, pedophilia, abusement, people abusing other people, gangs. I mean, it was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And then when you go fast forward and you go, you know, and you're thinking everything is cool, and yeah, we had a place to change with these lessons. But somewhere along the line, we dropped the ball. You know, those Mummununs that I spoke about in Ansar, like Yadalahi was being groomed to be an ambassador to the United Nations. So I said, you know what I'm saying, to represent us at the United Nations level, because Bob, you know, the old man had connections. Remember, he was traveling. He was meeting head of state. What do you think Sheikh Daoud was doing? You know what I'm saying? What do you think Malcolm X wanted to do? You know what I'm saying? Reaching out to the continent of Africa. You know what I'm saying? And having this connection. You know what I'm saying? Because we always had that connection, you know, through Sheikh Daoud being Moroccan, and also through Ansars through Sayyid Sadiq. We always had a connection with Africa. Always. You know, if anybody, you know, open up your mind and look at it. Look at the picture. We always had that connection. Always, always, always. So today's ain't time. I don't know with the Liberia, what's going on. And Dusa, man, let me tell you something, man. Abiyaya was heated when he found out that, but they used to call him Basil at that time. He was not known as Dusa York. He was introduced as Dusa York through Tashaka Malik. I remember that when Sakina was over that parar, you know. And this brother was Aaron Pryor, and they said he had something to do with R. Kelly's case and something like that. He was a witness. I don't know what was going on, what his connection was, but I know he was brought in through Yaqub. So Basil had a mate, Nifu, who was ahead of administration. She was gonna come up. I don't know, but she used to speak up there like she was the when we had the ball in Orlando. She used to speak up there like she was the queen. You know what I'm saying? The go-to one. You know what I'm saying? The one. You know. So that was her mate, Basil, and he used to beat on her. Abiyaya was so mad. Him and a brother Amu, a couple of them went over there and they were about to push this dude's head back. They confronted him, and Nifu had to get in and stop him and say, "No, that's my man. He's a father of my kids. Please don't hurt him." They were about to push this guy's head back. Abiyaya did not play. Amun followed right behind him. And there were certain brothers that did not play when it came to that. You know? That was one of the schools. And when we got together and did work, we did work. We did work as mujahads and as brothers. When we needed to do work, we did work. Just that warrior call, which I can't reveal here, but when that happens, it's time to put in some work, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to scare anybody and anything, but it's just to say that, hey, you gotta protect the integrity. It's morals and ethics. And sometimes with morals and ethics, you gotta be willing to cross that line and beat some heads down and say, yo, you know what I'm saying? Enough is enough. You know, so that's the point it got. You know, so this, I don't know, I never was into sending him money and this tribal thing. I asked a question to Umanuma. I asked him the question, you know, hey, where do you have audios or letters or anything that the master teacher has stated to get this ID? Where is it? So, and you know what? A lot of us, we can build things around the mission. You know what I'm saying? If it's honorable, it's honorable. You know what I'm saying? Like the Council of Nine, we have the morals and ethic appropriation. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? If it's honorable, it's honorable. You know what I'm saying? But it's not something that is sanctioned. Don't claim that it's sanctioned. Okay? And don't claim, you gotta just be careful with that. Just be very, very careful with that. I mean, it's a great idea, you know what I'm saying? But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Before, it was word of the mouth, and we have to, in order you to enter into an AO or enter the Blue House, you have to know certain things. Not anybody can walk in. You had to show your blue card, right? Sons of the Green Light. You had also ID cards for Sons of the Green Light. So AEO, you had an AEO card. So I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? But those are sacred schools. You know? So I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's a good idea, but like Abiyaya always sat down and told me, there's no accountability. Where's the money going to? Where's the accountability of the money? Whose hands is going on? Why? Where's the financial accountability? You know what I'm saying? When you deal with corporations, they have a department for that, and they have certain protocols and accountability. They showed in accounting, they show what's being used for what, who's getting paid for what have they achieved, what are they doing with it. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a card holding member, you have every right. If I walk into the lodge and I have my blue card and I'm in the lodge, I have every right to address the treasurer through the secretary. I have every right to do that. Let me see the books. I've done it before. I was a treasurer before, by the way. Let me see the books. Where's the money? Well, here's the books. Because we have to make an account of certain things. You know what I'm saying? But then if something else is going on, then maybe you want to hide something, But then every corporation does that. You just have to be smart about it. I mean, how do you think, what's going on with the Federal Reserves and these government agencies? They hide certain things. Certain things are done, you know what I'm saying, on the culprits of not letting people know what's going on. But that's a dangerous line that you're following. There still have to be some type of accountability somehow. You know. So I don't want to start on that. I'm not telling you if you're a card holding member of the Sabian Nation to go over there and ask, I want to see the books. I want to see what the money going on. No, don't start the ruckus. There's a way to do it. There's a diplomatic way. There's a very honorable way to do it. And a lot of times, if they got if so-called administration have nothing to hide, then they'll offer that to everybody. That used to happen with us as Ansars. We knew, Baba told exactly what he was purchasing, telling what we're doing, and this and this and that, and that and that and that. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one time there was a reading of how much money because they wanted to get the brothers. We need more. We need more books to be sold. We need to get the numbers up. So numbers were counted and told. We knew what was going on. We were told. You know what I'm saying? It was a mission. We were told. That format, that template was set. Somewhere along the line, it was tore down. It was tore down. Okay? And that's what's happening now. Okay? And sometimes it has to happen. Again, things are being exposed. Things are going to be brushed away. Brushed away. Be vigilant. Open your eyes. Something else coming through. You just got to be aware. You're going to be revealed. Now with the fourth industrial revolution, everything is being revealed through the internet. If you believe in that apocalypse and the revelation is revealing, this is the time where things are being revealed, exposed. Our very natures are being exposed via internet and via life. Things are being exposed. What do you think these viruses today weren't around? Viruses were always around, but it's being exposed now. Through science, they're finding, it's revealing, and they're revealing that there's viruses out here that has been causing things. It's been revealed. And how they were able to take these viruses with gain and loss of function through virology, and was able to amplify it, and all of that. It's being revealed. Can't hide it no more. Well, we're dealing at that age. So again, that fine line, that morals and ethics. You know what I'm saying? There's a morals and ethics to a lot of this stuff. And like I said, I'm always pushing that story of Musa and Khidr and Circle of Iron. I think that's a great lesson that a lot of us missed. A lot of us missed that lesson. You know what I'm saying? Things have to take place in order for something else to be revealed that might be beneficial to you. You know what I'm saying? Might be beneficial. And to those out there, that are not dealing with a full deck, you know what I'm saying? That are manipulating things, it's going to be revealed. What do you think? That's the reason why the ancient Kemetic Egyptian, our ancestors put the eye up on top. The eye, the seeing eye. It's revealed. It sees it all. It is what it is. You know, in the mafia, they open up the book. Everything gets revealed to see what kind of character and person you are. Let's reveal this. I'm revealing myself here. This is my character, personality. This is the way I was always since childhood. You know? I honor my Umi, my mother, because she instilled, even though we get into certain, she still has certain ways that I don't agree with, but still, I mean, she gave me that ability to see things, through my innocence eye, to see things through this eye, you know what I'm saying? To sense things. And I like a lot of us, our nature, we was that curious, nosy child, and wanted to always go beyond and transcend what we knew in that environment, because I had to. Being brought up in the hood like that, and Shakespeare, and being brought up in that environment, you had to. Us as children, we have the tendency to do that. And then we daydream. We go far, far beyond. We daydream. You know what I'm saying? And that gives me another topic to speak. A lot of problems I saw too, which is very dangerous, that we learn from, is that when, as the Ansar days, the children especially, and even the brothers, we extracted ourselves from what we call the dunya, the world. So we looked at the world as being a place not to be, filled with demons, filled with lost people, filled with all type of atrocities. We looked at it like that, and then we built something that became a paradise to us. Should have became a paradise, because I don't know, some people experience things that I don't understand. Should have experienced a paradise, all right? A sense of moment, right? Man. I used to go propagating the madness and come down on 42nd and come back into, as soon as you hit that Bushwick, that Myrtle on Bushwick, it was like, I'm home. I'm away from the madness. You know what I'm saying? So, let me get a little more to drink here. I'm sorry. So we created that. A lot of children, called Mutmanuns and Mutmanatis, was brought up like that too. The dunya, watch the dunya, and the devils and the demons and all this around, and this is your safe haven. This is it right here. What we did not know, that one day they would be teenagers and they would go out to the world. We were hoping that they had the foundation, the fortitude, the foundation to go out to the world and make something great about themselves, but that was reflective of what we created, that mission, right? That spiritual fortitude, right? Now, I'm not knocking the music industry. I'm not knocking a lot of the sex industry, any of that. But I'm saying, like I said, you could be in it, but not of it. But bringing in this spirituality, the difference between, that's why if you speak to some of the old Mu'minun had, like Jacob York, Yaqub, and some of the old Mu'minatis, they're kind of like caught up. They caught themselves in a very dualistic place, because they was brought up one way and then they go out to the world. It can happen to any family. It can happen to any organization. Okay? So this was exposed. When they went out, they saw that, hey, things ain't not bad out here. I can make that bag out here. I could become an artist. I could become famous. I can become a great entrepreneur. I can do this. I can do that. You had the lessons already. So it was intended for you to study to become lawyers and doctors and psychologists and this, so they can help us deal with our issues as a people. So you could become something to the people, not hip hop. I recorded the first hip hop record in history, Funky 4 Plus One More. I'm the percussionist. And I remember hip hop was cool at that day, but then I heard some stuff from hip hop that was underground that I was like, yo, what? And even in the Funky 4 Plus One More, you heard like, Smoke Some Black behind the Cadillac and shit like that. It was a different venue. A lot of them got caught up in that. And then you had brothers who were artists. Stetsasonic, a lot of brothers that was artists that was coming back. And, that mix went back out and did their thing. And so, you get a brother like Kedar who became the road manager for Stetsasonic and got into that world, because also we had Dr. York. But you see, Dr. York went out there and did what he did was to bring people to the fold, because I've sat at the food stand and guess who sat with me and had a great conversation. I love that brother. We passed away. Felipe Wynn from the Spinners. Ted Mills from Blue Magic. Also Ray Goodman and Brown. Steel Pauls. I met a lot of artists coming through there. Sarah Dash was one. That was that mission. Somewhere in the line, somewhere on the line that was missed, that was corrupted. Okay. Now I don't want to again speak submersive about Kedar Massenberg or Jake Yakub or whatever. I'm just looking at this picture and saying, well, my experiences and the teachings that you guys received, because I was there. Most of your Mu'minun used to teach us Arabic and recite the Quran and hold the khutbah and stuff like that. So I was there. I seen the teachings that you'll receive and the amount of attention that you'll receive, because that was part of the mission. It was to groom the other generation. But something went wrong. And now Jacob will blame that on the master teacher. He'll blame that on him. Remember, he's a man. It is a big responsibility. He didn't know everything that was going on, I don't think. A big responsibility. And also, he's got to step back too. I'm dealing with Nate. One time he came up to me and says, be careful, Dusabor. I can't protect you because I got to protect myself too, I was like, what? He's saying that to me. Be careful, I got to protect myself also. So he was dealing with certain issues too. So you can't just put the blame on just one man. You got to also take accountability for yourself. You missed the message. A higher message, a spiritual message, a beyond message. You missed that. And maybe you're sitting down and you're going to be that type of people. What I've done all of this for? What was all this fame all about? Like Prince or Michael Jackson. What was all this all about? Look again, Circle of Iron. There's a lesson in that. And so, I don't think this brother's going to come in. What's going on? Anybody want to come in, you can just come in and just let me know. I don't see the comments and chats. No one's here. That's cool. You'll just see this later. I don't care. I'm learning myself, a lot of that's also when you listen, you got to listen to yourself and you got to learn. A lot of things come through you those electromagnetic forces, those thoughts and the senses and stuff come through you. So you have to be able to listen to yourself and take notes. You know, a master teacher told me that. You know? That's why there were times that the newcomers class was recorded. There was stuff coming through him in the middle of that class. And then when you later on a book would come out, he would explore that idea, that sensing, that intuition, that clairvoyance, right? Even psychometry, that telepathy that he was communicating with certain Rahubat. Okay, my brother. Peace to you, my brother. I hope you're doing fine, my Haitian brother. I know you are. So, you know, a lot of times that's ideas. You know, I got a board over here and I get a lot of ideas and I write it down on the board and then I can explore those ideas. That's music. That's in anything we do. That's in nation building also. You know what I'm saying? That's in family too. Ideas. You know what I'm saying? Let me keep this popping. Let me keep this popping in my community. You know, let me keep it, you know, what ideas do I have? Or how can what's the best way? How can I explore these ideas? You know what I'm saying? So you're dealing with a master at that. And we only call him the master teacher because he mastered the art of teaching. When you master the art of teaching, you're able to sit anybody down and give them lessons as to say, look, and you really don't teach anybody. You really teach yourself, right? You just share. And then that student teaches themselves because they have to listen to their own voice. You have to listen to your voice, your ideas and concepts, because each other, we spark up. We're communicating. We spark up ideas and concepts, you know what I'm saying, to each other. So you have to really, really, really take that into consideration. And it's nice when you sit down with a man that has a plethora of ideas and concepts that's in tune with the multiverse. And these ideas and these sparks and this thing is the boom boom is coming through. That's great. It rubs off on you. That's having, you know, you're versing with each other, you know what I'm saying, on that level, you know. So, with that saying, I was here waiting for the brother and elder to come on, but I don't think he's gonna come on. He asked me he wanted to come on, but I've already been here an hour, and so don't get me wrong, man. I mean, you know, I'm not speaking submersive about anything. I'm not a killer of dreams and killer of anybody's. I'm not gonna put it. I'm not gonna put my hand in nobody else's pocket. No, I'm not gonna do that. But you got people putting their hands on a certain man's pocket, you know. And some people they say, well, you know, I put so many life in my years into this. I deserve to get something out of this, you know. And that's honorable. Yeah, you deserve to get something out of it, right? But you don't have to scam and con people to get something out of it. You know, that can't be your thing. You know what I'm saying? You have to use other, you know, creative ways. Not by scamming or conning. That was terrible when that brother came on Sabak Areya on Amanuma podcast that I just came off. That's sad and disgusting. And the culprit of all that, or he pointed his finger to certain people. And these people are still around, acting like they are the one. They want to sit on that throne. They're the one. Man, I watch that. Sit back, be patient, and watch the movement. Because look what happened to this brother, man. I did not know that stuff was going on in the land, and it didn't happen on the land when the master teacher was there. It happened outside of the land, in this, you know, amongst people that were Nuwapians, and you have Those that call themselves Nuwapians or Sabians, because you call yourself a Nuwapian Sabian doesn't make you a Nuwapian Sabian. I don't have to tell you that. Just by my actions, right? How I live my life and my actions should let you know. That should let you know. I don't have to tell you, I do have crowns and I do have garb. If I'm going to get together with certain brothers, boom, 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 and I wear that as to, you connect like that. But I don't have to let anybody know that I'm a Sabian or I don't have, you don't have to let nobody know you're Haitian. You don't have to let nobody know that you're Puerto Rican or Cuban, whatever. They can tell by the way, it's what you do. It's what you do. You know what I'm saying? The Sabian school are based on certain protocols and principles. If you're not showing that, then, and you're just calling yourself a Sabian Nuwapian, but you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not showing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a contradictory. You know what that is? That's a disconnect in your heart. The upper part of you is your ideas and concepts. That has, in order to be balanced, that has to match with the lower part of you, the subconscious, which is your feelings that create habits, your habitual nature. That's where the solar plexus, that's the lower part, right? So your ideas and concept has to match. If you have a concept, an idea of being a Sabian, that's right, facts. If you have a concept, a visualization of being what a Sabian is, and what, but your habitual habits every day doesn't show that, then you imbalance. Your heart is imbalanced. You know what I'm saying? That's psychology, bro. That's psychology. You have to balance the two. If I'm gonna say I'm a drum, okay, I'm a pianist. In my mind, I say to myself, I convince myself I'm a pianist, but I don't sit down in a piano and practice. You know what I'm saying? I'm a drummer. Oh yeah, I could play drum, but you don't practice, and you don't know the you don't practice. You don't know. You haven't created this habitual feeling in you to act upon it. You're imbalanced. So people could call themselves Wapi, I'm Savior, whatever. Doesn't mean nothing to me. Nothing. Let me see what you're doing. Let me see what you're doing. Let that speak. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. When I says a video or action is worth millions of words. You know? So I don't go around saying, no need to do that. I don't go around telling people I'm a musician, I'm a drummer. I don't. You'll see it once I manifest it. You will see it. And then any ideas and concept that I have, I want to make sure that habitual. I write songs. I have ideas for songs, but I got to get in the habits of writing words and poetry and get in the habit of piano working out the chords. You can have a song in your head, an idea, but you don't know how to manifest that. Same thing. You could be a Sabian in your head, a Nuwapian, but you're not manifesting what is Wu Nuwap or Wu Sabat. You're not manifesting it. Because look what you're doing. That's why, you got to look at the people like, So I just want to leave it there. I know people working now and stuff like that. And so, what I wanted to say is, just be vigilant. and things are going to manifest. And just know that whatever you bring to the table, make sure that it's beneficial, it's honor, it's beneficial. Have tolerance for people's differences, but at the same time, know how to draw the line. You know what I'm saying? I have tolerance for many people's differences, but when it comes to a point of disrespect, that's how I draw the line. Ho, 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 ho. Slow your roll, my brother. Slow your roll. Put back. Yeah, you can share this once I release it, sure. I don't mind. Pull back, my brother. Hold back. Slow your roll. You know what I'm saying? I'm tolerant to your differences. I honor that. But you don't need to be bashing, hitting me with that. Don't throw no rocks at me. All that. Stand on those principles, man. Be honest, truthful. And like I said, you know, I can say all of that, but if I don't show it, it doesn't mean nothing. Nothing. I do my best to be truthful. I do my best to be truthful, honor, because I love that. That's what gravitated me for. You know, we were a family back then, and we operated like the mob. I'm telling you, mafia. We had our honor, men of honor. We had our loyalty. We had our honor. We had a truthfulness, and we tolerated differences out there. That's important. Those are morals and ethics. And then when you on those principles and you showing that, guess what? Those that are not going to stick out like a sore thumb. You're going to be like, yo, why you sticking out a sore thumb, my brother? What's going on? What's the imbalancement? Why? No, why? Hey, keep that shit over there. Don't bring it over here. That's it. Keep that shit over there. Don't bring it over here. Because if you want smoke, I'm going to give you smoke and much more than smoke. I'm going to give you the actual fire. And I'm going to give you the smoke. I'm going to give you the fire. And then I'm going to give you what creates that fire, that flint, that combustion, they call it. Gives you fire, that fusion, that fire. And then you're going to get that smoke. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, peace and blessing. Prince Ila, man, my brother, man. I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you're still in Haiti or whatever, but I hope you're doing well, my brother. I remember you very well. Good souls, man. You know, I have a lot of Haitian genetics in me. I got a lot of Haitian blood family. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're all family. You know, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, man, peace. And again, you know, to the I hope this brother sees this later on. Sabak Araya, you went through a lot, my brother, and I see that. And I know my brother from Jamaica, my Samaka brothers, man. That's some serious brothers, man. I grew up around a lot of them. There's some serious. When they get down, they put in work. They're no joke. They're no joke. You know what I'm saying? They're no joke. And so my heart goes, oh, you're in the States. Okay, cool, brother. Yeah, contact me. And so my heart goes, you know, hey, I heard, I listened, and I see, you know, you can't do anything about it now, but like the brother said, if people are honorable, okay, yes, please contact me. If people are honorable and they are living really Wu Sabat, you know, and they're living it, they will be honorable and they'll make things right. You got to make things right. You know, have a sit down and make things right and say, hey, listen, we're going to make things right for you. Okay. Because it's important. It's even important for the master teacher's freedom. You know what I'm saying? We reflect him. We're representative of him. Look at what happened in the social media with Paul Light. Every matter of fact, they associate that with Dr. York. Because he went out there and I'm a representative of Dr. York. And then look what he does, and now it's reflective. Now you got people running around on social media saying, "Oh, he's a baby Dr. York." You know what I'm saying? Crazy, crazy. So I'm saying, I'm not a follower. You know, I'm not a follower. You know, I don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna tell you whether I'm Nuwapian, Sabian, whatever, or spiritual, anything. I show you. I live my life a certain way, and if that's in line with what Wu Sabat is, then you call me. You name me. Like, is a rose still a rose? Who named it a rose? You know what I'm saying? Does a rose know that it is a rose? Who named it the rose? You know? It's lessons in all that. Lessons. Anyway, peace and blessing. I don't want to sound too preachy out here, but like I said, I learned. I'm gonna probably look back releases, and I'm probably gonna look back at this and make sure that things are in order. You know what I'm saying? Um, peace and blessing, yo. Sure.